I didn't even finish unloading my truck before Karen showed up. Not a welcome, not a handshake. A bright yellow violation notice slapped across my grandfather's barn like a disease. Open quote. Unauthorized soil disturbance. Close quote. On land that had been in my bloodline since before her HOA had a logo. I tore it down, still laughing, until I saw the signature. Karen Kensington, President, Juniper Ridge HOA, 5 hours. That's how long I'd been back on my family's 1,000-acre ranch for a woman in designer sunglasses decided she owned it. I followed the gravel road toward the manicured gates of Juniper Ridge and found her waiting like a spider in the middle of her web, arms crossed, lips tight, judgment already loaded. This road is under HOA jurisdiction, Karen said, slow and smug. You'll need written approval to use it. My road, I replied, on my ranch. She smiled like she was talking to a child who didn't know the rules. Not according to our zoning map. That was the moment I knew this woman wasn't confused. She was dangerous. What Karen didn't know, what none of them knew, was that their shiny little paradise sat on a 100-year land lease that had expired 6 months ago. Every road, every green belt, every clubhouse brick, all of it had quietly reverted back to me. She was standing on stolen ground and didn't even know the trap had already closed. The next morning, I met the man Karen had already broken. His name was Eldon Brooks. Thin, sunburned, leaning against a mailbox like gravity had finally decided to bully him too. He didn't ask me who I was. He already knew. You're Warren Adler's grandson, he said softly. I can tell by the way you stand on the land. That hit harder than any insult Karen could throw. We talked. Not small talk. Real talk. And then his voice cracked. My wife, June, she died last winter. 64 years together. Then Karen Kensington finished what cancer started. Eldon told me how Karen fined him $75 a day because his antique red tractor, restored by his wife's hands, was visual clutter. How the HOA rejected his appeal while June was in hospice. How Karen's compliance unit taped violation notices to his door while his wife was dying inside. No exceptions, Karen told him. Grief doesn't override community standards. I felt something inside me turn cold. Eldon wasn't alone either. I noticed it everywhere now. Curtains snapping shut when Karen's silver SUV passed. Neighbors flinching like prey. She waits for weakness, Eldon whispered. Then she feeds. That's when I knew this wasn't about my barn. It was about control. Karen didn't run a neighborhood. She ran a fear factory, and the worst part, she was doing it on land she no longer owned. If this story is hitting, remember to like, share, and subscribe. More is coming. Karen didn't wait long to strike back. 3 mornings later, I woke up to the sound of engines whining through my south pasture. Not trucks, not tractors, chainsaws. I ran over the hill and my stomach dropped. 4 HOA workers in yellow vests were hacking down the pecan saplings my grandfather and I had planted 10 years earlier. Trees tied to my father's death. Trees that carried memory in their roots. 3 were already on the ground. Another was halfway cut. I shouted. They didn't stop. A woman with a clipboard smiled like customer service rep from hell. Emergency access violation. These trees must be removed. This is my ranch, I snapped. You're trespassing. She shrugged. President Karen approved it. Then Karen herself appeared, filming with her phone, eyes glittering with something ugly. There he is, she announced to the camera. The aggressive resident. I told her to leave. She told her crew to keep cutting. 1 more tree fell. That was the moment something snapped inside me. Not rage, resolve. You step 1 inch further, I said, staring straight at the man with the chainsaw, and this becomes a police matter. Karen smirked. You don't own anything here. But I did. That afternoon, I started rebuilding every fence along the true property line. Stronger, taller, unmissable. Trail cameras went up, legal documents went out. Karen thought she was claiming territory. In reality, she had just declared war on the wrong landowner. Karen made one fatal mistake. She stopped pretending. 2 nights after I rebuilt the fences, my trail cameras caught 3 men sneaking onto my ranch with bolt cutters and a gas can. They weren't HOA volunteers. They were hired. They were there to burn my barn. When I confronted them, they ran, but not before dropping a phone in the grass. 1 unlocked screen. 1 message thread. Sender. KK. Open quote. Do it tonight. No delays. Payment released. Close quote. Karen Kensington. By morning, the sheriff had it. By noon, the county did too. And by the end of the week, everything Karen had lied about exploded in public. At the emergency town meeting, her secret was exposed. The HOA had been operating on land it didn't own. The lease expired, the notices were ignored, the money, $80,000, funneled to her cousin through fake consulting fees. Homeowners went from confused to furious. Eldon stood up and told them how Karen tortured him while his wife was dying. A young couple told how she fined them for building a ramp for their disabled child. Karen tried to talk. No one listened. 3 days later, sheriff's cars rolled into Juniper Ridge and put her in handcuffs while neighbors filmed from their porches. Fraud, conspiracy, attempted arson. The HOA collapsed. The community voted it out. The land came home. Karen didn't lose power. She lost everything. If this story opened your eyes, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Justice always finds tyrants.